All right, dude. Let's just kick this fucking show off. I doubt Mike will jump in at this point.
Yeah.
UFC 288, Brandon came and went. Aljamain Sterling welcomed back Henry Cejudo from his almost like exactly 3-year layoff. I guess I shouldn't even call it a layoff. It was a retirement. He pulls him out of retirement. Although for much of that time, we knew that Henry Cejudo wasn't going to stay retired. I mean, he'd been trying to stir up beef with other fighters and talk his way into fights for at least 2 of those 3 years. So it was pretty obvious for a long time that Henry Cejudo would be returning to the octagon. But they did so this past weekend at UFC 288 in Jersey. Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo go the full 5 rounds. They go the distance in what is a pretty competitive fight. And we'll just start it off by asking how you scored it. By the way, fuck you, Mike, for not making this episode. I was going to ask how you guys scored it in my notes.
Convenient. He missed this one.
But I'll just be like, how do you score it, Brandon?
I watched it 3 times. Every time with the expectation of, or with the goal of okay, you picked the fight. I could go back. I think I picked the number of it's going to be, what is it, 40? Was it 49, 47 or 40? Or what was it? What was it? Whatever the score was, I called it by pretty close. And I was like, okay, don't, because it was close as fuck. So if you go out there I fucking told you, but everyone's like, it's a fucking robbery, you're gonna look like an idiot. Yeah. So I went with the full intention of proving myself wrong. You were wrong. Watched it live, watched a replay, watched it without commentary, then watched the Weasel. And that was the same. It was the same thing. He won the first, the third, and the fourth, and that was it. And the first and the fourth was by a lot. It was there's no chance he didn't win those by they weren't 10-8s. No one had a 10-8.
No, definitely not.
Cejudo got close in the 5th, but which was amazing. The 5th round, from Henry Cejudo, that was one of the most. Well, we see him Gamrot and was it Kutateladze? Was that the one where these fights are just oh no, it wasn't Kutateladze, it was whatever. But these fights when Gamrot fought Sarukian, and where it's just whoa, dude, I can never fathom being this good at anything in my life. These guys are very good.
To where one of your best rounds is the 5th round, late in deep waters.
Yeah, Henry Cejudo is absolutely amazing. He's such an amazing fighter. I have so much respect for him. I can't believe I had lost them. Just seeing him drunk with Sean O'Malley really fucked it up for me. That really just oh. But man, he's so good. But again, I think the point I made before was it's just such a funky matchup to come back to after 3 years. I mean, I think Merab would have been a better matchup after 3 years for him. Yeah. I think I made that point. O'Malley probably would have been a better, and then so beautifully, the Ray Longo and those guys put together such a good strategy for whoever they're fighting. The way he used the length, the way he just because Cejudo can close the gap so well. So the way he really utilized his reach and his funky striking, he didn't do anything crazy knocking him out, but he was just scoring.
Yeah. So
the all fours laying down thing, I did not know what the fuck that was. And I was so glad
vulnerable. I'm so glad that nothing screwy. I think that's what you were about to say. I was don't fucking hit him. Yeah.
Matt Serra was I don't want to fucking see that again. He told him straight to his face. Did you see that in the corner?
I didn't catch
He's
that.
That all on all fours, Aljo sprawled. I don't want to fucking see that again. I don't want to fucking see it again. He said it and I was all, wow.
I'm glad. I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that bit of corner work.
Did it again, though.
That's what I would have told him, because because there was a few moments when he's like completely down and he's doing that thing where he's like moving his head from side to side, and it's like, okay, here's the scary thing, guy, is that you shouldn't have to do that. I guess if you're going to try and evade like a front headlock series, but just knowing his history and how he became the champion because of an illegal strike, it's like, dude, what are you doing? So happy to hear that Matt Serra said that. And I have to I completely have to agree with your assessment of Henry Cejudo, because I felt like even in a loss, this has to be one of the more impressive returns that we've seen from somebody who's been out for 3 or more years.
John Jones, but John Jones is.
John Jones' performance was very specifically like, boom, he went straight for his opponent's weakness. And that was really quick. And also,
he took a step. Sorry, dude. I'm so sorry to do this. I feel bad for breaking you down, because I know you're gonna kill it right now. But I
think I did.
I was like, no, I kept thinking like, well, John did it, but the one thing I thought was, well, John went down a significant amount for what he does specifically, went down so far. And if you can even call it going down in competition from light heavyweight to heavyweight, but for John's specific skill set, heavyweight, there's no one like him in heavyweight. So Aljo is fucking top of the fucking food chain at what he does. And Cejudo went and took on a guy that strength, athleticism, and just knowledge, corner, everything. He took that on. Whereas John Jones kind of, as fucked up as it sounds, like the guys in like I think Jamal Hill would have, maybe Jamal Hill, if John was a light heavyweight, or like a Yuri would be a lot harder than going up and fighting John or Gon. You know what I'm saying?
I could see that. Yeah.
Because if he came back from 3 years and fought Yuri, or came back for 3 years and fought Gon, I think he would have had a way harder time with Yuri, because he's funky, he's weird, he does weird shit. It's almost the same thing, and I don't know if John wins that fight.
Yeah.
But for sure, taking on a guy that's so deficient in one place, where almost everybody in that division is, John did it. So it's like, okay, but it's way different than what Cejudo did, which was even that much more impressive to me.
Yeah, the thing about John too, and not to like derail this too much and make it about John, but I think you make a perfectly valid point too, because like at the time, and it's hindsight too, because I picked Gon when we made our breakdowns, and I think it's one of those deals where it's like, okay, one of the only unique things that John hadn't seen throughout his career is that big hitter. And he fought Rampage, you know what I mean? But not in Rampage's prime or anything anymore. But that fight with what's the gentleman that passed away? I'm blanking on his name. At 205. Chael called the fight. He used to cut to welterweight.
Damn.
You know who I'm talking about.
I'll know when you say it, but I can't quite. I just always think about the deaf guy.
No, not deaf. not deaf.
I know.
Oh man, I feel bad. Like we eulogized
the American Psycho.
No, the black guy who died recently.
Oh, Rumble.
Okay, I'm gonna edit that part of the pod. That was literally
the guy that died.
The guy that died. Like, I know.
I was like, he fought Stephan Bonner. I was like, he did fight Stephan Bonner, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, he did fight Stephan Bonner.
2 dead dudes. So I was just like, what? Which guy?
I said the one who used to cut to welterweight.
Yeah, you didn't want to. There's a distinctive thing you could have said that would have really got it for me, but you didn't want to say it.
He's black.
Just say it, dude.
Oh god, I don't even know how to edit this now. Anyways, that was embarrassing.
Just don't. But I thought, because in my head I was like, he fought like 2 dead guys, so I was like, and then I for sure thought Stephan, and then you said Chael called it, so I was like, did Chael call the Stephan Bonner fight?
Chael,
did he fight? He did fight Stephan Bonner. No,
he fought Steph. Yeah, he fought Stephan Bonner. Chael predicted that the fight with Rumble Johnson just wouldn't happen, and for no reason. Somebody had asked him about it, and he's like, "That fight won't happen." And then and then 2 weeks before the fight, it was canceled or something like that. So Yeah, he never fought like that really like big hitter. He didn't end up fighting Ngannou, and that fight's probably never going to happen.
He's gonna duck Pavlovich.
He's probably not going to stick around for Pavlovich. There's like for as many the archetype of that big hitter, that big unique challenge that we never got to see John face. We ended up seeing him fight like the mobile heavyweight, like the guy who moves nice with good. Yeah. Anyways, back to Henry Cejudo though.
Yeah.
For all of the reasons that we're gushing over Henry Cejudo's performance and how well he looked across, to come back for 5 rounds against the best bantamweight in the world right now. For that same reason, I think that this is Aljamain Sterling's key victory now. Because for a while it was really kind of tough. Like he broke a lot of records with this fight too. So he has a lot of really impressive stats, and of course he has impressive wins in his career, but I feel like this is really the one that he'll be able to hang his hat on and be like, this is the defining his legacy up until this point. And I think that's going to continue. I think that Sean O'Malley's probably going to be a pretty easy matchup for him. I think that's a nice little payday.
Money,
I think this one, and not that it put him over for anybody. I mean, they still boot him out of the building, which is kind of crazy.
That was so fucking stupid. I was mad, but it's like New Jersey's trash. It was so funny because Bilal was doing that because he did that to Philly.
Uh-huh.
And then where he kept saying Chicago's better than Philly. And then he kept saying and then he was like, New Jersey's trash. Like he was saying it on Embedded, but like I feel like it kind of is.
Uh-huh. Yeah, man. Would that fuck with you? Because that would totally fuck with me.
It would piss me off if I was doing anything in Fresno and they're just like, boo, fuck you, and I'm just like, what, dude? I'm from here. Well, not from here, but like close.
Yeah, dude. No, that would get under my skin. And I noticed, Mike noticed too. Like he kept sending me stuff about like, dude, Henry Cejudo and all of his fans are totally in Sterling's head. And he was like during the weigh-ins when he was all telling them to suck a dick because they were like yelling out and you. So it really did seem like it was getting to him too, which I thought definitely could be a factor. Okay, so I'll just mention right now, I picked all the dogs for this card. Well, for at least the main 3 fights.
Amazing, dude.
And I got them all right. And it was also in order of confidence too, because this main event was the one I was least confident in. Like I easily could have, This was
the only one I knew.
Uh-huh.
This was the only one I knew. I wasn't as confident when they were reading the scorecards off.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about that too. Is like the fucking judges, they got it right, but they got it wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
Like how do you do that? But go ahead.
Judge Cleary scores the 4th round for Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, and then he gave Aljo the 5th. I'm telling you, these guys, they just don't. They're just like watching the fight and then not writing anything down. And they're like, "Hey guys, the cards. Oh, here." And then they like hand it to them. Like, I feel like that's what they do.
Yeah, there was a screwy scorecard for sure, and I don't even remember if the judges if it was actually Judge Cleary, but I think I heard that name.
Yeah, it was the one that fucked it up.
Wonky scorecard, but the right person, I think, still won.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where does this put Sterling in your like top bantamweights of all time?
For me, and dude, this puts you. That was a shutout. That was an amazing card that you picked, dude. And Mike, I think Mike did very good himself, except for this one where he was dead wrong. I mean, Cejudo had no chance. I mean, Cejudo landed like 3 straight head kicks, and like Aljo was like, "Okay, thanks."
Do you think it ultimately came down to size?
Oh yeah, that's what I said. I go, dude, he's going to be 30 pounds bigger than Henry Cejudo because Henry Cejudo is so small.
Mm-hmm. And he was moving like the Henry Cejudo we knew. Like he didn't look like he lost a step, and the speed was there. The reflexes,
good, if not better than he had ever been.
Even the game plan, but
he's just huge. Aljamain Sterling is fucking huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid. He's a size bully. He's a weight bully. That's all it is. And that was the biggest thing and kudos to him too for being able to cut and then keeping his chin because he got kicked in the head hard. Like 2 or 3 times, solid straight shots to the dome, and he just ate them.
Yeah.
So there's just not Cejudo. I was not scared of any, like when Mike said that, when he's like he's gonna, I was like, dude, I did not want to be rude to him, and I won't be, because I like him a lot. I respect him. He did a great job calling all the other fights. But I was like, dude, there's no chance Henry Cejudo knocks this guy out. He's just so small. It was, and Henry Cejudo's not that I don't know, he knocked guys out, but at lower weight classes, you know. And it turned out to be like Marlon Moraes and like TJ Dillashaw, who was like womped the fuck out.
Yeah, in the weight class where he belongs, most likely. Yeah. And I mean, that's not to say he can't rack up wins over other bantamweights. Certainly,
no, he could definitely outpoint. He'll outpoint a lot of. He beats O'Malley.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see the Merab fight. I would absolutely love to see that fight. I would be really interesting to see what he does with Sandhagen. Jan and I would watch that. I would pay money to watch Jan and Cejudo. So it's amazing, like what he's like, that he's changed my mind that way. But
yeah.
But as far as Sterling, I think the thing that looks very good for him now is that he straight choked Corey Sandhagen unconscious. Mm-hmm. He choked Corey Sandhagen like out. Like Corey Sandhagen was astro traveling. Like
it's a win that ages very, very well for him.
Yeah, right, and so a lot of like Cejudo's wins aren't. I mean, with I guess against DJs, yeah, mm-hmm. But like a lot of Cejudo's wins didn't age as well. He still has a great resume. Can't take a damn thing away from him.
Not at all.
But yeah, I think the fact that what he did he beat Jan decisively when he had to, mm-hmm. and he fucking choked the life out of fucking Corey Sandhagen, which now is like, damn. So, there he is.
Nice of you to join us, Mike. We're still talking about the main event.
Oh, nice.
I was telling like crackhead on the street stories and shit, and like low key stories where I felt uncomfortable with a gay friend from high school, so just to kind of like keep it going.
Yeah, we tried to stall for time as much as we could. Yeah. I also forgot Anthony Rumble Johnson's name.
He said something about the dead guy that John Jones fought, and I was like, he fought two dead guys
that he didn't fight.
That he didn't fight. Right, it was booked, but then I was like, I just kept thinking Stephen Bonner. If he would have just used a word that I don't know why people aren't afraid to say. He should have just said it. I would have known exactly what he was talking about, but he didn't want to.
Apparently, I was reluctant to say the dead black guy, the black guy who died recently. Yeah, that's what you came back for. How you doing, Mike? Yeah, that's what you came into. We were just in the middle of discussing Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling. We've already kind of like gone through, with the fight. We're kind of recapping our picks right now. Yeah. We've gushed over how good Henry Cejudo looked in his return, even though he came up short in the decision. And I was about to start reading off some of the records that Aljamain Sterling set this past weekend. So at UFC 288 with this win, Aljamain Sterling has the most wins in UFC bantamweight history with 14. Now, I'm not sure if that's a record that he probably already had and he just added to it this past weekend, but most wins in bantamweight history with 14. Aljamain Sterling's 9-fight winning streak is the most in UFC bantamweight history, so that includes a winning streak also. Aljamain Sterling's total fight time, 3 hours, 49 minutes, and 49 seconds, is the first in bantamweight history. Or I guess I should say the most. I'm assuming that's how
that would take Sergey Pavlovich 12 years.
We'll see if he even gets there within his whole UFC career or run.
We'll be speaking Chinese by the time Sergey Pavlovich gets that many hours in the octagon. We'll be all speaking Chinese. We'll be doing this in Chinese. Bing Chiling. We'll be doing this podcast in Chinese.
Bing Chiling. Aljamain Sterling's total control time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, 36 seconds is first in bantamweight, UFC bantamweight history. That one's pretty crazy to me. The idea that he's like there is an hour and 8 minutes worth of him just controlling dudes in the octagon. I'm assuming that includes up against the cage.
I'm not finishing some people.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't watch it, but it's kind of crazy for a human being to in the UFC at that level to kind of like rack up those kind of numbers. Aljamain Sterling's 1,646 total strikes landed is first in UFC bantamweight history. I can kind of toss that stat out. Like that's, strikes
How
are
many
so.
finishes?
It doesn't say that's not one of the records he broke, but the last one.
Oh, okay.
Aljamain Sterling's 3 consecutive title defenses are the most in UFC bantamweight history. So I think
he also I have a 80-inch television here. He also was part of the parlay that helped me get that. So thanks again. Thanks again, dude. Amazing.
I think the 3 most notable records are most wins in UFC bantamweight history, the longest winning streak at 9, and the 3 consecutive title defenses. And with those stats, or all the ones that I read off, where does that put? And I asked Brandon this a little earlier, but I didn't really get an answer yet. For both of you, where does this win put Sterling in your top bantamweights of all time? Are you ready to say that he's the greatest bantamweight, or is that still, Dominic Cruz's title? That
I don't even know. I don't think he's the greatest of all time yet. Let me pull up my stuff real fast.
You're gonna say it's Miguel Torres, aren't you?
No.
Brian Bowles.
Oh man. He's about to pull some crazy shit out. His face is just beaming white light, dude. He's not. And then the face goes, and then his face just turns white from the screen. He's actually not, and I'm going to tell you why. I can see I can see it in his glasses reflection, like all the hating that shit he's about to say. Let's take a look.
Let me see.
Well, while he's pulling that up, though,
I think the fact that he's also probably been going toe to toe with Merab for however long, and that has the goddamn dude. That won't add to anything, but that should be in the record books. Like you go to town with the CEO of EPO like every fucking week.
You have the best training partner to prepare you for never-ending bantamweight pace.
You know what? He's up there. Maybe number 2 right now.
I could give him number 1, but that's also because I feel like, to me, there's always been an asterisk on Dominic Cruz's title of like the greatest bantamweight of all time, because he's certainly shown that in performances, but he's just always had, because of injuries, so much time off between. It's really hard to kind of give him the full nod. So to me, it's like a 1A 1B type of situation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's right up there. Other than that, I don't really take TJ's into account after everything that happened.
Yeah. Connor, with being a snake with Connor. So
that gets thrown out. Aljo, Renan Barão, probably one of the most screwed over guys of all time.
UFC buried him when he did he miss, what was it? Did he miss weight? No, he had to pull out because of an injury.
Yeah,
and they were totally acting like it was such blasphemy, which, I mean, happens a lot.
Yeah,
Miguel Torres, I'll always be a fan. Yeah, I mean,
that was like the first episode we had. Remember, that's the name I remember we did that 20 questions, and I got everything down, and then I just blanked on Miguel Torres' name. I did like the most eloquent. You remember that game you played?
Yeah.
And I go, did he fight this person? Did he? And like you're like, dude, these questions are so good, and then I couldn't remember Miguel Torres' name.
I think the thing with Aljo for me, and I guess going back to the main event, is I actually thought Cejudo won, so I had it 3-2 Cejudo, but
well,
yeah, I know. Well, we were watching. I don't know. I know Kenny had it 4-1 Aljo.
I had it 3-2. I thought it was very close, and I did not like when they were like standing next to each other. I was like, "Fuck, dude, I can't argue either way."
Yeah.
After watching it again and seeing it, and then I don't really like the way the Weasel does it, because he just goes, "Oh, just trust me. He landed 17 punches right here, guys. Trust me, he did." And it's like, okay, oh no, I'll go ahead and trust you. But
yeah, but no, like so, and I guess it's just going back to the fight that. and why I also struggle to put Aljo as number one is this, it was another one of those fights where I don't know. I thought, like I said, I thought Cejudo won. So I know there's a lot of people that thought Cejudo won. And it just feels like it's not helping him in any way in terms of when we're taking a look at his record. And I know he's got the wins, but these are all very questionable wins.
Contentious. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. There's a healthy amount of people.
There is controversy.
I think he froze. I think he was going to mention the controversy about that one judge's scoring card.
Controversy towards the decision or to the fight where this exactly what happened. And I mean, props to Aljo for winning. But yeah, I think I think that's why I still have Dominic Cruz as number one.
Okay.
Like Dominic Cruz was dominant when he was. I mean, not this. Yeah, he was dominant, and Aljo's had many.
How many gold medalists?
fights.
How many gold medalists did Dominic Cruz do? Can you pull that up? Can you? Oh, yeah. Probably done. Uriah Faber was good though.
I don't know.
I think yeah. I mean, I think Yan and I mean TJ was a wash because he was, you know, we didn't know he had one arm. But as far as like who you're signing up to fight, you know, who you're stepping in there to fight, and then Cejudo, I got to admire Aljamain Sterling's strength of schedule so far, at least in his championship fights.
It is a tough schedule. And I think when you said that record about the total strikes, like being the most strikes landed, that's why I asked like how many finishes, or I just want to know how many finishes or how many even knockdowns that is, because it's like,
yeah, no, that's
I don't know. It's like one of those things like you have all these strikes landed, but
like Bilal Muhammad,
no finishes.
You just fucking. Well, I'm sure Bilal's numbers are way the fuck like, up there. Yeah. They're way the fuck up there.
It doesn't translate to other finish, but I don't know. At the same time, they're still getting the win. So what the fuck do I know?
I think I wanted to go back to mentioning Merab and how he stole the show.
Yeah, absolutely. That was so cool.
Because we had been talking about the fight for quite a bit now. And well, I guess the transition was going to be that the matchmaking is kind of simple for us at this point in time right now. Like, I mean, they brought O'Malley into the cage. It's clearly going to be Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley in Boston, which I think that's going to be there's going to be a lot of
Aljamain in Boston.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough
It's going to switch from boos. Are they calling me Boo or Boo Earns or whatever it is? There's going to be an in that one. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm picking O'Malley in that one right now. So.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna just go ahead and say that you have a blind hatred for Aljamain Sterling,
dude. For sure. When you sat down, I was wondering what that noise was. That was your cock slapping the fucking chair when you sat down. I was like, what was it? Got a little heat on here. It was his cock slapping. I love it, dude. I absolutely love it.
It's the energy we need.
Yeah.
That's bold. Okay.
It's extremely bold, but I fuck with it heavy, dude. Mike is fucking badass.
Do we make him give any kind of an explanation as to why, or do we wait till that fight comes around? Because I'm very curious.
Let's wait until when he has to go white faced again to explain why he was when he has the screens pulled up. He has the double screens. I saw it. You have double screens pulled up. You're just like this way. Both screens he won. Let's wait for that.
Well, and then on the B side, or at least a fight that I think that they should arrange for the exact same fucking card, be a co-main, whatever. Let's do this Henry Cejudo versus Merab fight. Because Henry Cejudo called him out. I love it.
I was wanting to see him fight because I was hoping that Cejudo would go towards the featherweight road, and Holloway doesn't have anybody to fight in featherweight. Just go fight Max Holloway, and then you beat Max Holloway, then go fight Volk. Yeah. That's what was in my head, and then he threw the jacket on, and I was like, okay, dude, fuck that, let's go.
Yeah. Oh man, Merab. I didn't actually notice it unfolding in the moment.
Yeah. So, I was like, where did he get that jacket?
And then you see the replay, and at first I thought that Sean O'Malley was just talking shit, like, oh, I thought he was my coat boy. But then you actually see, hear him explain it, and not just in text. And he actually, I think he really did think that Merab was just there to, because he does. He takes it off and he just hands it to absentmindedly hands it to him without looking at it. Merab looks at it and just like, fuck it, I'm gonna throw this on, dude.
Yeah.
And he just goes into full troll mode, just standing there waiting to be noticed.
So badass, dude.
Man. I'm very over on the whole Sterling, Merab, Odd Couple, fucking Sarah Longo whole faction. Like,
it's sick.
I'm so with it.
It's like, I think they've been making the meme all week, like with the King George coronation, where like, if you're the side chick, just wait. You can end up being the Queen of fucking England, dude. So fucking Merab is gonna be the fucking bantamweight fucking god for a long time, and he's just like, dude, it's like that. He's like that side chick that just hangs in there. The wife gets sick. And she's just fucking yes, dude, yes. She's like watching the wife's Instagram, and it's like, why she's tagging community health center so much, like yes, in the stories and shit,
posting stuff like you don't know everybody's struggle and all that stuff. Like, do we?
She's just nodding the head, just biding her time.
And Merab is so down. He'll fight Sterling's contenders before or after they fight Sterling. Like, straight up, he'll like, we'll keep putting the pieces on you. But
and then he just straight up, like, I'm sure. I mean, he had Jan scared to shake hands. He's like, oh, nice knee, dude. And then Jan was just like, dude, Jan has 1,000-yard Vietnam veteran stare, dude. Like, for sure. Like, to do that to your man's rival, that is sick, dude. You're badass.
It was like that. His reaction to that was like, do you ever watch Mad TV back in the day? That lowered expectations skit.
Yes,
like,
when he almost touched the fucking at the beginning. I do, dude. Another bit I do in my head. No one gets it. I'll be walking with my chick at like the mall, and I'll do the no. And then I'll see lowered expectations in my head. Exactly. No one gets it, but you do. Good, thanks, dude. I gotta do shit around you, dude. Remember? And then he pulls his pants up.
The classic fat guy move too. Just I gotta adjust
They're
the
at the canal. They're like looking at the canal.
It's like, whoa, that's Barb. Sorry, Mike.
Sorry, Mike. But if you got it, dude. Yo, and these tickets, dude.
Last thing,
I've never seen that skit.
Last thing I'll say about Cejudo is that I didn't, going into this, I didn't really care much one way or the other as to whether he continued to fight or if he was just going to retire again or what. But if he's going to stick around, I love that matchmaking. I like it. I don't know if it's what's right for the bantamweight division as a whole, because there's people like Corey Sandhagen there, where I think we touched on that a little bit. It's like, what are you gonna do then?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Son of a fucking bitch.
But for once, I'll just enjoy fights in a vacuum and be like, okay, I just either way, I want to see it, no matter how it's gonna happen. And I think it's a great time for it to happen because,
O'Malley winning will be what's best for the division.
Chaos card, dude. I guess O'Malley. Okay, I was ready to move on, but I will say this: I think that would be kind of positive for the division because somebody else is just like, they're all going to start salivating. Somebody's going to take out O'Malley in a vicious way, and that's just going to mean that there's going to be more former champions in that division, including O'Malley. And I think that really strengthens the division where there's that many former champions and title challengers and all that shit. And there's a lot at bantamweight, because for as short as the lifespan of that division has been, it's been around for 11 years or something like that, 10 years. There's a lot of former champs at bantamweight. Yeah. Some of them aren't even fighting anymore, but you got your Cody's, TJ is probably retired. Dominic Cruz is still in the mix, and if you go back even further, Jose Aldo just recently retired. There's a ton of former and challengers also. Like they're rich with it. So it wouldn't be bad if O'Malley won.
This is what's going to happen in 2 years, maybe. O'Malley wins this next fight. Merab's gonna challenge O'Malley for the belt to defend fucking Aljo. Merab's probably gonna win. Merab's gonna be the champ. Aljo's gonna find his way to fight back, and Aljo's gonna be number one again. And Aljo's gonna actually fight him because Aljo wants his title back, and they're gonna have this friend breakup. Even though Merab this whole time refused to fucking
I'm
fight.
almost there, dude. Just keep going.
It's gonna happen. I can finally be done with it.
Just slacking off under the desk down here. I love it, Mike. Thank you. Bro. And then Kenny Ephraim's in the back, like fucking. Yeah, I gave you both things. Like fucking. Have you seen Pulp Fiction when the homies are watching him fuck that guy? He's like, fuck him. Yeah, fuck him. You see that when he's all sweaty in the pawn shop? Remember that?
Yeah.
Come back to this in like a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
I will.
Exactly gonna be the
I'm a
outcome.
hating ass motherfucker.
It's gonna be Aljo versus. It's gonna be Aljo versus Merab, and Aljo's gonna take that fight.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like, I'm gonna move up.
I hope not. That would be pissing all over the bantamweight division. Even as soon as you propose that,
it's gonna be locked up, dude. It's gonna be locked up because these guys are gonna go on their fucking square of people that could beat each other.
Okay, I got him.
They're gonna have a moment of silence because Donald Trump's gonna get assassinated like a week before that. So they're gonna be they're gonna like leave a seat open for him at the pay-per-view.
I also have a prediction about the bantamweight division within the next 2 years, since that's how you framed it. My prediction regarding the bantamweight division, and I'm not going to get it nearly as specific as you are because I don't have to. I'm just going to say a name. It's Umar. That's it.
Ooh,
that's definitely a name to watch out for, but I don't know if he's gonna have to take the long road. I bet.
I think that it looks a lot brighter now that they're probably not going to make him fight Merab Dvalishvili, because as much as that was supposed to be like some kind of punishment for Merab, I mean that could have also potentially been a punishment for Umar.
Yeah.
Now if that guy's kind of taken off the map a little bit, it certainly makes his path towards contendership
what is he ranked
a
right
little
now?
bit more feasible. I want to say I don't know what he's ranked for the UFC, but I think he should be in the UFC's top 15.
Okay, yeah.
If you go to Tapology, they probably already have him knocking on the door of the top 10. But
I think with a fighter like that, let's see, he's number 11. Honestly, he's probably about 3 fights away from a number 1 contender fight. So 4,
depending on the guys,
yeah,
it could even be 2. If it's a Rob Font and a Chito Vera and he smashes both of them, those guys have big enough names. It's particularly Chito Vera. Those guys have big enough names that they could catapult them even further. Now, if he has to fight, I don't know. There's other guys that he can get matched up against, or a Song Yadong.
Yeah.
Oh God. But what are we even talking about anymore, though?
Well, like I said, though, I think Aljo, Merab, O'Malley, and possibly Cejudo are going to be having this square of fucking people that could take each other out. And I think guys like Umar are basically going to have to... Umar is basically going to have to beat Rob Font, Marlon Vera, Peter Yan, and probably Corey Sandhagen just to get a title shot.
Probably. We'll see how it goes. Are we this desperate to not talk about Bilal Muhammad?
I am. I have nothing. I want nothing to do with this kid. He's the only guy I've ever seen be fucking impressive and like still look like a piece of shit. Like, what is this? What am I watching?
I loved the meme that you sent me after the fight.
Yeah.
Hamzat Shemaev after 15 minutes with Gilbert Burns and Bilal. One prediction that I don't know if I made on the last episode.
Was Bilal's eye straight?
I don't know how you can dominate a fight so much and still look fucking...
It looked like he could lose at any second still. I was like, Gilbert, you got this. You got this.
Even with your one arm. Which I know a lot of people are giving Bilal crap about because it immediately became, you couldn't finish the one-armed guy, which that's a criticism, it is. But, I mean, I still give him credit for the fact because I don't think Gilbert Burns went into that fight with a bum arm. I think that happened.
No, that happened. Takedown, right?
Yeah, he posted ugly and he fucked it up. So, I mean,
I will say
that was a result of what...
From the start, though, Burns just didn't look normal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He looked off.
Yeah.
I
think that night, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think that night, even if he would have been fully healthy, Bilal would have been right there in it. The way if he all things the same, yeah.
I think if Burns, the Burns that fought Masvidal shows up, fucking
lights out.
Bilal's not winning that fight.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just trying to say something nice, dude. I'm just trying to say something nice here.
Switch the timeline of these fights and
Colby and Bilal Muhammad. What is that? What is that, dude? Because it's Colby's gonna beat Leon, dude. And then we're gonna. Dude, that poster is going to be shitty. I will bet you $150 that Colby beats Leon.
I have a theory to finally get this guy to lose. I'm just gonna pick him.
Yeah, sweet dude.
I picked against him every single time, and I'm gonna fucking finally pick him, and then he's gonna fucking shit the bed.
Yeah,
and I'll be happy to lose that.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to also remind the listeners once again that this was my second leg of my underdog triple threat parlay that I hit on. So, you could by all means though. I totally understand that because I kind of felt like this. I had doubts about Bilal Muhammad in this fight. I picked him, but this was like the second tier down from like where I wasn't as confident in Aljamain Sterling. I was also, a little bit more confident in Bilal. But that's because I kind of thought that even though it was so dominant, that the fight with Masvidal or having to cut weight that recently and go through a full 15-minute fight, I kind of figured that has to have an impact. Whereas
it has to.
Yeah, I heard a lot of other analysts and stuff say like, well, this actually benefits Gilbert Burns because he's still riding off the momentum of that previous training camp and stuff. And I was like, I mean, I guess if you know better than me, I certainly don't know what it feels like to peak and then come back down or any of that stuff. But I think this was also a tough answer for Bilal, where he really laid it out all on the line. I think he's on a 9-fight winning streak. All the work he's had to do in this welterweight fucking
Jesus
division.
Christ, dude, I hate this shit. Dude, I was talking about John Jones for 20 minutes to not talk about this shit, dude. God damn.
Well, I mean, the guy was in the middle of Ramadan and fucking not even away from home and shit.
Bro, yeah.
It was a tough one.
Fucking were taking turns. That looked like a goddamn vintage 2007 bang busting. 3 chicks just throating. Like that would be the thing. Like on X videos, if you look it up, 3 guys.
If you look it up,
yeah. If you look it up, don't go. 3 guys throw a Muslim, and like that's what it would be, dude. I cannot. They were just like, he looks amazing. Oh my, dude! It was like you saw like Jake LaMotta was out there or somebody, dude. You're just like, what is this? Probably
helped him win the fight. But let's okay. There's not a whole lot to report on as far as the actual fight itself. It was very tit for tat. It was pretty dominant for Bilal Muhammad, but as we already mentioned, it wasn't a fight that anybody's going to rewatch. It's about exactly what I expected though.
It was the Bilal Muhammad fight.
Yeah, the most impressive thing about that fight was go back and watch it. I think it was embedded the second before last. Gilbert Burns' son throws a high knee in the garage. Go back and watch. I was like, dang, this kid is gonna be fucking savage when he grows up. He throws like this jump switch knee. It's like, god damn, this kid. Amazing. That was the most impressive thing about the whole
thing.
Because his son was shadow boxing and then threw a wild ass fucking switch knee.
Let's talk about what this means for the welterweight title picture, since that's probably a more interesting topic. So this fight, the result of this fight, puts Bilal Muhammad at, according to Dana himself, and they all reported this, that he's going to be the next in line after Colby. Do we think with that after with the amount of time that's going to be between now and then, because Colby and Leon, they don't have a date yet, and everyone's thinking they might potentially not lock horns until late August, possibly October, and then by then, after their fight, now Bilal's probably waiting till early 2024, maybe January, February. Do we really believe or take the UFC or Dana White at their word that they're still going to say, hey, yeah, Bilal, you're the guy, especially when Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor are going to be fighting at welterweight eventually. Shavkat Rakhmonov and
don't say
Usman
that around Mike. Don't say that around Mike, please. Leave our guest here.
I don't think
give a fuck less.
Bilal's gonna have to fight.
Look at that scrolling in his glasses. I can see.
Bilal's gonna have to fight Usman.
It's a fight that makes sense. I mean, in it doesn't make sense. He's earned a title shot, but if we know practically what the UFC is very likely to do,
very fair.
I think he's probably going to have to step into that cage again.
Yeah, and I think
they're going to give him Rogman. They're going to give him Shavkat.
It'll be Shavkat or Usman. I don't think
bro, here you go. Don't worry.
I don't think Usman Shavkat is going to happen.
Does Bilal beats the brakes off Shavkat, right? Wait, Mike.
No, that's not Mike's line. That's my line. That's my. I think Bilal outworks the wolf, the Shavkat.
Takes him out to deep waters, B.
I think he can. I mean, Shavkat wasn't looking good in 3 rounds. So.
Brandon's like, these motherfuckers have lost their minds. Hey, I would have if we could bet, or apparently it was my parlay of underdogs, Yan Xiaonan and Bilal and Aljamain was like a 9-1 or a 10-1 bet, and I so wish that, because I probably would have bet. I was very confident in those picks. I probably would have laid down
$100 on that, dude. Would have been clean living. He would have took that one down, dog.
Yeah. So yeah, Bilal. I hope the best for him, but I think he's still going to get screwed over. This is a tough look for Gilbert Burns also, but I think, I don't think anybody's necessarily worried that he's starting to slip or anything like that. I think it's a real big asterisk on it with, how recently he fought against Masvidal and all of that. So I think they got to do Gilbert Burns a solid after this fight. And give him a solid.
Keep his brother Herbert around.
Rebound.
Is that what you're talking about? Keep old Herbie around.
I say I would like to see. Wait, who'd you say?
Burns is going to get Shavkat next.
He could. I would like to see Burns get someone like Kevin Holland.
It's going to be Jeff Neal. Stop it.
Oh, it'll probably be Ling Jingliang too. That's another name I was going to say.
He gets his spine together by that time.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this women's strawweight fight. Yan Xiaonan puts the finishing touches on Jessica Andrade. The fight went exactly how I was expecting it, except I didn't think she was going to get a finish. But everything that I had seen from Yan Xiaonan in her fight with Marina Rodriguez, even though she lost that fight, but I mean, I thought she won it on the scorecards. Everything I had seen in that fight, plus what I had seen Erin Blanchfield do to Jessica Andrade up at flyweight, when Erin Blanchfield isn't necessarily somebody who I consider to have like very clean or technical boxing at all. If you go and rewatch that fight or look at some of the photos, like her other hand is like way down by her waist when she's like punching Jessica Andrade in the face. So just based off of those two performances, I kind of knew that Yan Xiaonan, if she comes in and does what she's supposed to do, she should be able to stick and move and really just kind of like make Jessica Andrade chase her all night. And it didn't need to be an all night thing or all 3 rounds. She gets it done in the first round, going backwards, which I thought was really impressive. Off the back foot, connects with the right hand, puts her down, follows up with some hammer fists and puts her out, and very, very likely has stolen the title shot from Amanda Lemos. I don't know if you remember Amanda Lemos's most recent win over Marina Rodriguez. What is your if it was your call right now, you still stick with Amanda Lemos versus Zhang Weili fight, or do you just go right up ahead and go Yan Xiaonan?
If our Chinese overlords see it fit. If the CCP should so bless us and allow us to see that greatness, yes, absolutely. Isn't it crazy though how the Chinese, they just show up bodied the fuck up, dick skin ripped, and they just get better and more strong. It's just like, dang, like what are they doing over there?
Are we gonna give Uriah Faber his props or?
I absolutely.
I think it has a whole lot to do with something in the water over at Team Alpha Male. Man.
Sacramento, dude.
Yeah.
Sacramento fucking is the spot right now. But
it was a week prior, Song Yadong did his thing too, man. So or was it 2 weeks prior? But either way.
Yeah, a week ago.
Yeah.
And I was I don't know. I just like Andrade so much because I stand for Yan Jianan on here. Mm-hmm. As much as anybody. I basically like or clit washed her up until the and then I just didn't choose her for whatever reason, like an idiot. But she just is so clean. But like you said, the hand down by the waist, I did see something like that. But what the fuck? It worked. So
happened. Yeah, I mean, we still see that from some of the best in MMA because the boxing it doesn't need to be where it is for super high level boxing. But
Max Holloway doesn't look like fucking prime Floyd Mayweather when he fucking lands his shit. So
does this? I was watching the fights with Mike, and he kind of mentioned this, as we were watching it, but it wasn't like a statement. It was more of a question. Are we looking at what might potentially be like the decline of Jessica Andrade, or are we being a little too dramatic there? Or
I think she's been in there so long. It's so sad. I mean, I think it's going to be hit and miss. It's not going to be like as extended dominance as maybe it had been in the past, but I think it's going to be more hit and miss.
I think she's kind of been, with that loss at least, kind of relegated to almost the gatekeeper right now.
Oh yeah, I can't disagree with that.
I mean, I don't think she's 100% done in terms of people are just going to walk through her now. I think she's still a dangerous fight for anybody, but I think her days as a title challenger are over.
As long as she stays in long enough to be in the next ESPN Body issue where she poses nude, I'm cool with that. I'll buy it, or I'll digitally purchase it. If the Chinese overlord shit shall bless me with that and allow me to watch that.
Certainly wouldn't get it for free on Reddit or anything like that. Now, I should go. I'm looking at her record here, and Jessica Andrade getting finished in a fight isn't actually anything new. I think I admitted, even though I was the only one on this show,
not a new phenomenon.
It's really not. And I kind of thought about as I was watching, I was like, "Fuck, she finished Andrade." But then I remembered, I mean, different method, but Erin Blanchfield finished her. Shevchenko finished her. Weili Zhang finished the fuck out of her. Like Liz Carmouche finished her. She's had TKO finishes and submission finishes in her record, and
she's a glass cannon.
She's I guess so, because I think one of the biggest issues is like the girls that she's really put a beating on, there was nothing coming back her way. Like the Lauren Murphy fight, I mean, it's kind of recent, to go back to that one, but Lauren Murphy was never making her pay for being the aggressor, like whatsoever. And I think it's something that you have to do with Andrade, like, because if you let her be the bully that's just going to push the pace on you and swarm on you, I still think there's a lot of girls, especially maybe more in the flyweight division than in the strawweight division. They're a lot more scrappy in the strawweight division, but I still think there's a lot of girls who will fold under that pressure. So if she wants to stick around and keep collecting checks and probably still putting on some dominant performances over some girls, I think she can do that. I would like to see her potentially, I guess either weight class. I don't have a preference for weight class, but I don't think she needs to go away just yet, especially because we're talking about some divisions where we've seen some girls hang on in the top 10 way longer than they had any right to. The Cynthia Calvillos, the Jessica Eyes. I guess I'm talking more about flyweight now, but 2 losses in a row for Jessica Andrade doesn't necessarily make me worry that it's going to get sad, just yet. I think
it's WMA. So.
It is. There's a bit more of a varying, like, wide range of
skill gaps.
And I think with some matchmaking, I think she could still be relevant. I'd like to see her go up to flyweight and fight like a Casey O'Neill or something like that.
Oh,
she's been in there 10 years now. So.
I think she has the most experience of any woman on the roster right now,
and still top 5, top 6.
Yeah. Still scary as fuck. She's what? Not even 5 foot, right?
Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I mean, she was a former champion.
He's gonna anyone who slams Rose Namajunas on their head. Our buddy up here on the top left is gonna say, "Yeah, for sure, Hall of Famer,
all-time Hall of Famer for me."
Which Rose and Pat Barry took another L and won, which was pretty cool to see. I was like, "Yes, thank you." Like you're gonna lose, sweetie.
So what happened?
Stamp Fairtex kicked the shit out of a gal from Denver that Rose Namajunas and Pat Barry trained.
Oh, I saw that fight. I didn't know they.
Yeah, they were that fucking liver kick was fucking chef's kiss.
Yeah, I think I was telling Kenny I want Stamp in the UFC.
Oh, there's no way they let her go, dude. I think she's not even. I think her parents sold her to Chatri, dude. I think she's like indentured servant.
But
Oh man, and the girl she was fighting too, that was like totally like, no, we have Ioana and Jacek at home, like
yeah,
everything about her too.
She's American, but man, damn, that was sick. I was like, ooh, we've talked about Stamp on here before. It's like she's so cool. That is so cool. Like, and then the form on it, the high left hand, and then oh man, god damn.
Yeah, her in the UFC would be amazing.
What weight class would she fight? Because I'm not even.
I think she's atom weight over there, though, right?
105. Oh well, if over in one.
Well, I do know their weight classes are different though. Like
right, and then hydration and everything else too.
Yeah. What is it? Their flyweight is actually 135.
Yeah, if she's an atom weight, then she's actually a straw weight in the UFC, or would be rather.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you guys want to talk about?
She's very young too. She's like 13, 14. She used to date Rodting. Did you know that? Her and Rodting used to date. How cool is that? How sweet is that? Mm-hmm.
I was rooting for that freaking guy. I was fighting Rodting.
What? I was rooting for like they'd have to bring the ambulance in. Like, thank God,
right.
dude.
You put up an okay first round.
Well, at least it would have been. Well, he probably would have been better off in Singapore. He would have got their healthcare. Like trying to get a Denver a hospital bed, dude. It would have been rough.
He put up a good fight.
I was pissing blood. He's probably still pissing blood right now. He did though. He definitely looked the part. I'll give you that. Yeah, for sure.
I was rooting for the ringside physicians to be on the ball and be able to get in there quick and stabilize them.
You always see those Asian refs grab the head right before, like how they like fall with them. I was hoping to see that.
Yep. What other tidbits from UFC 288 do you guys want to touch on? Because we have been going pretty long, and we still need to give our breakdown of Rosenstruck versus.
I think they'll be adding Almeida. A new chapter to the book of Black History Month for next year. Drew Dober lost, so I think Rosa Parks definitely liked that one. I think I sent Kenny that meme. If you want to put that up on the thumbnail right now, thanks. Do you want to do it?
I don't know why you equate. I mean, I get it. The jaw is impeccable, but Drew Dober of all people needs to be like the embodiment of white excellence to you. Like I don't get. He's so wholesome.
He beats the shit out of black guys. Like whenever he fights black dudes, he just like beats the shit out of them nonstop, and then he loses. And then he loses to white dudes.
I didn't know about that.
Look at his topology and just take a look at the green, and then let me know like if you notice anything interesting.
All right, we're gonna do this right now.
Please,
Bobby Green. Okay.
All right.
Rafael Alves, that's a brown man. Terrence McKinney. All right.
Oh, okay. Extension.
Alexander Hernandez. Nasrat Hakparas. Polo Reyes. John Tuck. Frank Camacho. I don't know, man. I feel like the Latino community has a little bit more to be up in arms about.
They're melanated. They're melanated.
Either way, Drew Dober takes I don't even know. Was this an upset loss here? I mean, I think we were all picking him, but I don't know if this was necessarily an upset loss.
I can't wait. Frivola called out Paddy Pimblett, and I'm like, please, fucking kill him. Like, just after that guy was like, please kill him. I wanted Drew Dober to be the guy to do it, but for Vola, good for him, man. He seems like a good dude.
With Drew Dober coming off of a loss, I think it actually makes more sense to do Drew Dober versus Patty now. Yeah. I mean, they should kind of be like, ideally Drew Dober should be kind of like coming down a little bit in the rankings, and Patty's already 4-0 in the UFC, so I mean, it's time to make that step up in comp. I think either of them would be fine. But my understanding is that Patty Pimblett recently had surgery and probably won't fight for the rest of the year. So who knows what they're going to do with Matt Favola. But this fight was another big moment in the night for Team Serra Longo, though. So their boy got it done in Jersey. So props to them. And that was an exciting fight for how long it lasted. Made the right reads. And what do you have to say about the fight, Mike? Your guy, you pull for Drew Dober pretty big.
I was sad, and it was a fight. It was an outcome I didn't take into.
Drew Dober called for Jalen Turner so fast. He was just like, "Give me Jalen Turner right now."
And I remember being quoted as saying, "I don't think there's an outcome where I could be like disappointed."
Yeah, that's right.
With this card. Yeah. And then as soon as that fight happened, I was like, fuck this card.
Yeah, get this shit off my TV. Yeah, dude, that was sad. And
props to Frivola, but like, God damn it.
Dober looked good, too.
Here's the thing. He is that hopefully this is our first time being finished. Dober with head movement. It is like relying on the chin would be a fucking beast, dude.
Yeah.
If he actually just fucking kept his head moving, like, that dude would be knocking people out. And I think hopefully after, like, this knockout, the style kind of changes a bit and we get a little more head movement to go along with the power. Because I don't think the loss is a bad loss.
No, so. It's not going to happen, though. It's never going to happen. I mean, the man's 26-12, and he's had his clock cleaned in a lot of fights, too. Like, this is the first time he's been finished.
Yeah, he's been rocked plenty.
Plenty, and that didn't make him learn his lesson. And he's 26-12. I think he's already ripened on the vine as much as he's going to.
But he also doesn't seem like a guy that like really doesn't care about the title. He just wants to do exciting fights and fucking put on a show for fans. So I think if he's gonna keep delivering on that, he's one of those guys the UFC is gonna keep around a long time.
He probably smashes pussy on the reg too. I could not imagine see a world where he's not just cleaning up trim.
I don't think I've ever seen a boring Drew Dober fight. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, I guess we should be talking about matchmaking for Matt Favola moving forward. But what do you think would be a good? I'll start with what do you think would be a good rebound fight for Drew Dober to kind of put him back on track? Because I think he's somebody who could still be a star for the UFC if they kind of knew what to do with him. There's just this lightweight division is so deep. I mean, I imagine it's like spinning plates, trying to figure out how to prop all of these guys up. But Drew Dober just seems like with the right matchmaking, they should be able to print money with this guy. Like he's got everything.
Moicano and Drew Dober.
That's good.
Fucking fight night.
Moicano needs to get back in there too. I like that one a lot.
You know what? I don't know if he can. But a move to featherweight, I don't think would be a bad idea. I don't know if he can make it, but
I'll take a look and see if he's ever fought at featherweight that I know.
Because look at the guys he can fight, dude. Like Barbosa, Dan Ige, fucking Ilia Topuria, Giga Chikadze, Korean Zombie, Kelvin Cater, Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, Holloway, Ortega, dude, those would all be fucking bangers, dude.
Big.
And with his power, he could win all those fights. Mm-hmm. I think he could be I just think lightweight is too deep of a fucking shark tank to like for someone like Dober. Mm-hmm. And I think if he were to go down that weight class, I think he could see a fucking amazing results.
I'm looking at his record right now and going and poking around and seeing what weights he's fought at. It looks like he started his career at welterweight, and he's also fought at a catchweight this was back in 2011, but he's also fought at a catch weight of 165 pounds before, so he's gone up that high.
God damn.
So I don't know if he can make featherweight, but
He probably got circumcised, and then he was able to make weight for.
I will co-sign on all of those matchups, though. Those
yeah, absolutely.
Fucking bangers, though.
I would love to see him.
I think him in that division, this fits him and that style so much more than it does at lightweight. Or the lightweight is just filled with bad matchups for him.
For everybody, literally, it's filled with bad matchups for fucking Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Kron Gracie.
Dude, I was telling Katie, my girl was like, "What the fuck are you watching? Like, this is gay." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
UFC 1.
Yeah, for real, dude. That was Pride 1, dude.
I think I even told Kenny, I was like, "Yeah, we're like a couple fucking minutes away from seeing a hoist kick at this point."
Oh my god, dude! That was
sure enough, he started throwing that front thrust kick and then trying to dive for the double unders.
Oh my god!
For fucking any sort of fucking...
the faces that god damn it, Damian Maia was making these faces at him in the corner. I was like, dang, dude!
I missed it. What
Damian Maia was just like, bro, what are you? It was just like, who the fuck is this? Like, what are you doing? And then the guy, it was just like, what the fuck? And then his like ice guys are just like, fine, here, bitch, here. They like threw him the water. They're like, here, bitch, you fucking open it.
I'm glad you reminded me that Damian Maia was in his corner too, because one thing that I told Mike,
so mad.
One thing I told Mike as we were watching it, and was like, talk about the most pointless person to have in your corner.
Yes,
at that moment,
exactly.
It's like, dude, you don't need another fucking jiu-jitsu ace to tell you like the X's and O's of what to do
just
or what adjustments
to make. Like, why have you tried jumping on his back? That's like that's all he could tell you in that thing.
I was telling Kenny on that night that it kind of sucks because they fucking rely on the one trick jiu-jitsu so much, and even still in 2023, that and you look back at how many guys have gone into the UFC. Like, I think we discussed like Hollis, Hodger. Like, on paper, Hodger should have been a fucking amazing heavyweight. He had the grappling, had the submission, but it's just like they refused to train striking.
They
refused to train wrestling.
They refused to train wrestling, and it's like, dude, if you guys had wrestling and you guys had striking to go with that fucking already god tier grappling, you guys would be fucking amazing. It's like, and it's just frustrating because like it's still going by that mentality that all you need is jiu-jitsu, and it's not how it is anymore. You can't fucking go in there expecting to just butt scoot and fucking dive for takedowns, expecting to sub somebody off your back in 2023. Like, defensive jiu-jitsu and has evolved so much since back in the day. Like, everybody's aware of everything at this point.
Caro Parisian Ralphed it watching that fight. For sure. He was just like, what is this?
We got a little 10-minute reminder, so I'm going to pause real quick and send out.
I'm going to take Jonathan Almeida. I'm going to take. I just started like cramming it in. Johnny Walker, Jonathan Almeida.
Oh yeah, our breakdowns will be very quick for those. But let's pause real quick, and I'll send you guys another link. So that way, I just don't want it to cut off someone mid-sentence in a bit. So. No, it was just Brandon just reacted to this video I sent of DDP getting honked on his cock. I just sent it to the group chat.
I was literally looking at it right now. I was like, can they hear my horn through my phone?
Okay, so we were just wrapping up talking about Kron Gracie and just the Gracies in general, just never evolving, and pretty disappointing fight. I think it's pretty telling of why he didn't come back for so long. How much time was it between fights for Kron Gracie? Because I don't quite remember it. It could have been.
I mean, I guess it's pretty much a point now. The only thing,
dude, it was 4
years. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is good for is if you're going to kill someone on a subway in New York. That's the only way it's going to work for you.
It's very hyper specific. But dude, it was 4 years. I did not feel like 4 years. If you would have asked me, I would have been like, I don't know, like a year and a half since Kron lost to Cub Swanson.
Like, what were you doing in that 4 years? Where were you training?
He said that
he was rolling blunts for the Diaz Bros.
No, he moved to Wyoming, and he said he needed to train because he had no money. He's like, they don't want to pay me. I don't have money to get good training partners, so I have to go get money in Montana. So he's been teaching. Yeah, I guess they don't have boxing classes yet. He opened a school in Montana, and then he got real. Did you see when he got all mad at Henry Cejudo? Like all Cejudo said and embedded. He's like, they do like the signing the posters, and so it's like him and you saw it, right? And then Kron and then Cejudo's like, man, I'm handsome, and then I'm leaving. It's like, dude, okay.
He's like, I'm not gonna stand around for that shit. And I was like, all right, dude.
Wow.
Wait, who said that?
Kron Gracie. He got immediately fed up with Henry Cejudo just being around him.
Still better stand up than Brendan Schaub.
Yeah. Henry Cejudo was like signing posters. Or they were supposed to both be signing posters, and Henry Cejudo was just like, I look really good on this poster, like just being, being him, and and Kron Gracie just immediately was like, no, I'm not even going to be around this guy, and they captured all of it. Well, yeah, it's dramatized a little bit, but he stuck his nose up in the air at being around in the presence of Henry Cejudo, which kind of, which is makes you Brandon's comment about like, oh, I didn't have money, I needed to pay for people to train with and stuff like that. Your name, he's a Gracie, he's Hickson's son. I think what that translates to is he needed to pay for Yes Men.
Hickson's his dad.
Like I feel like that might be. I think they might insulate themselves a little too much.
It's definitely it's passed them by. It's just passed them by. I think the point I was trying to make about like the Cejudo thing was like, and we talked about like, look at like where Corey Sandhagen is now. Like, look what the Chinese are doing with like their fighting. Like the way they just like light speed jump to like crazy ass levels of skill and fitness and everything else, to where the sport is just evolving so crazy. Because like we were talking about this before, the sport, like baseball is like hundreds of years old. So it's like you don't see these crazy ass leaps and bounds in talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Aaron Judge hit 62 home runs, and like dudes were doing that in the 40s, dog. So it's like, it's not crazy to see. Fucking the UFC, MMA is so young. We're seeing like crazy light speed jumps in skill right now, and so like it doesn't even look the same as it did in 1999. Like if you watch a baseball game from like the 80s, 90s, it doesn't look like their guys aren't as jacked, and they're mostly all on meth, but it still looks the same as what you're seeing. Like you'd be like, that's a baseball game.
Yeah.
Where if you watch like an MMA fight from like 2002, you're just like, and then throw on fucking Kutalaba and Demir God dang it, Ismagulov.
Mm-hmm.
You throw that fight on, and then you throw like one of Matt Serra's fights from like 10 years ago or whatever. You're just like, dude, it's not even the same fucking sport.
No,
so like for him to think like he could just take 4 years off and then do some UFC 12 shit, this is not gonna work. That's
a really, really good point. And just in that, for those 4 years, I mean, that's enough for the landscape to change. Slightly. No, it's not anything. It's like what's a completely different sport from 2019 till now. But we've seen different little eras of skills and things that people thought worked for a bit or did work until someone else figured something else out, and it ebbs and flows. And he was never on an ebb or a flow, even from the beginning. He was just, I represent Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in its most vanilla form. And I mean, I'm sure he's good for grappling tournaments and all of that stuff, but he's not a transitional fighter by any stretch of the imagination. No.
That's frustrating because they can be, but their ego refuses to fucking let that go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like I said, I mentioned before, like look at Buchecha in one. Like he's really trying to wrestle. Like he's shooting double legs, he's shooting single legs, he's like chain wrestling. So it's like, dang, like that's if you can do that, like why not? And that's what he said too. He's like, I have to train wrestling. Like I can't keep just coming out here and rolling around. And he could be in one and just do grappling tournaments, but he's like, no, I have to learn wrestling. I want to come out here, and it's the difference in mindset. So.
Yep. Let me take a peek back at this card and see if there's anything else that we wanted to
talk about
mention.
The Jandiroba fight?
Yeah, we already talked about the Jandiroba fight at
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead. So we got Anthony Smith.
Yeah, me and Brandon, we went deep on that fight. No,
we broke it.
We broke it.
I ain't got much to say here. I think I called that.
You did.
Fight.
You did.
Hey, great.
Rodriguez is currently in shambles. So.
Yeah.
What's the win streak looking like for old Jandy?
For Beanie or Bina? What were they? They were like pronouncing her name perfect. Bina.
I think she was on a 2-fight skid.
No,
she just came off a win against Angela Hill or something.
Yeah. So
Angela Hill fighting. Hopefully, she kills Mackenzie Dern. I hope.
I don't think
it's in the UFC, and it's Mackenzie Dern.
I just like that she finally went back to her grappling and actually leaned on it and used it to control the fight. I don't know. I think if she continues that sort of game plan in that division, I think she could definitely hang around the top.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what she needed to do with Marina, and not really having faith that she would just be like, okay, I'm just a grappler in this fight is why I picked Marina. I've seen how stubbornly Virna could go out there and throw those shitty hands and do, and she still did some of that stuff. She was throwing some ill-advised like spinning shit. And I thought that if she came with that game plan, that Marina would be able to like fucking sock her up in the mouth or something nice. But no, she went and took her down immediately, and I was like, it's not gonna go well for Marina after that. No.
Yeah, and I think in that fight, I think if you look at Jandiroba winning that fight, I actually think her beating Rodriguez kind of also helped fuck over Amanda Lemos.
Makes that
in making the decision for it to be Weili versus Yan.
That's some very far, not even far out, but like for most people, that is some very far out MMA math. For like, I think just most people other than me and you aren't really going to be tuned in to enough of like what's even happening in that division. But yeah, that's a good point. Because
I just think when you look at it, like who's going to get the next shot, you know, you can be like, well, Lemos beat like a Rodriguez who just got dominated by someone who was, I think, not even in the top 10 at the time, maybe number 11 or 12. But
yeah, so that's a good one. Yeah, I think like we mentioned before, Lemos is getting stepped over. Did we talk about that before Mike came on? The Yan fight?
No, but I do.
I was here.
We all talked about it.
I do want to see Weili Zhang and Yan Zheng.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to see that?
Hey, there's still girls for Lemos to fight and stay busy against, like Tatiana Suarez.
I know you can name every last one of them, where they were born, everything else. Shoe size, for sure.
Yeah. It's like you can name all that about the guy fighters.
I sure can.
With that win, Jandiroba moved up 3 spots to number 6.
Should have been more. But hey, she there's still you still got to make room for the Mackenzie Durns of the world, right?
So Yan moved up 3 spots to number 3, and Lemos dropped down 1 spot to number 4.
Brandon, how much did you know about Braxton Smith? Before this card.
None.
So I wouldn't even say I'd done a little bit of homework, but I had heard some other people kind of like breaking down like some of his fight history, because this was his UFC debut against Parker Porter.
I got a pre-fight primer.
Yeah,
I do know that I look a little like Parker Porter from the neck down.
From the neck down, sure.
Yeah.
So
we both got a nice set on that. Both of us got a nice set on. I mean, between him and me, I mean, that's, you're talking about body issue
for sure. So this Braxton Smith was a funny one, and this was a very entertaining fight for anybody who didn't see it. Like, this is a UFC, this is a heavyweight fight worth rewatching, dude.
I just want to say that when you're prefacing a fight for discussion, I don't know if the best choice of words is this is a funny one.
It was. I mean, people know what they're getting. It's a heavyweight fight, dude. This is.
I hope my wife is never in the same room as Parker Porter, because like that is, that's her type, dude. I would be like, dude, I could be in the room with like Michael B. Jordan and I'd be fine, but like if Parker Porter's right there, I'd be like, babe, we're going.
Especially if she watched this fight and saw him posterize Braxton Smith.
Dude,
so
you could fucking Photoshop me on this guy, dude, and it would be like, whoa! I'm gonna scare my parents. Like, Mom, Dad, I can't work for you guys anymore. I'm taking my talents to the UFC. They took pictures of me already.
All right, so back to Braxton Smith.
Yeah,
Braxton Smith tries MMA in 2014. And his first and only fight at the time was against Chase Sherman, where he lost by knockout. Apparently,
where was that fight at? Was that in the UFC?
No,
was it in the UFC?
No, it was for some promotion called V3 Fights. That was in 2014. His mom was the person who told him to try MMA because he had played football, I guess, and other sports didn't work out for him. So she said, well, I don't want you to waste your athletic talents. You should try this MMA thing. I think you'd be really good at it. Long story short, gets pasted by Chase Sherman, says, I'm not doing that again. Fuck MMA. So he doesn't compete in MMA again until 2022. His mom had passed away, and his endeavors with other sports or football or anything never really panned out. He decides to give MMA a try again and rattles off 5 first-round KOs. All like nothing past one fight past the 2-minute mark. Gets his call up to fight in the UFC. So at that point, he had taken 8 years off and came back and rattled off 5 KOs in the regionals, and then gets the call up to fight Parker Porter, and it's just epic seeing all of the wheels fall off of that dude. Like, he was swinging for the fences, dude, but he ran out of gas. You really could tell. Like, I even told Mike, I was like, this guy probably has a solid 2.5 minutes of fight in him, and then it's going to go bad for Parker Porter. But hearing that story, though, I was definitely rooting for him. And there was a moment when Parker Porter was like standing over him, and he was just all turtled up and stuff, taking punches. And I was yelling at the TV. I was like, think of your mom, dude. Think of your mom.
That is a dude that by this time next year is going to be in BKFC, possibly doing well.
Maybe. I don't know, man. Even in BKFC. Well, 2-minute rounds? Okay. You know what? Yeah, I was about to fucking poo-poo that, but
this is also the BKFC heavyweight division too.
Yeah, but with 2-minute rounds, you kind of got it made if you're a guy with Braxton Smith's gas tank. So I thought that was a pretty entertaining one.
You're right, it was.
So it goes.
I don't let my wife watch that. Like, well, my wife was in the room, so I turned it off. So I don't want her to see Parker Porter.
Let me pull up Parker Porter's image. Oh, man, that's not a flattering one they have for him on Tapology. I'll tell you what, that's some serial killer vibe right there. Looking like... Never mind. Okay. We're going to transition over to UFC on ABC4. Rosenstruck versus Almeida, and we're gonna give our quick picks because I don't know if there's much fights to break down. This is a tough card, but it's very cool because it's a very early card. This one is starting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, so fucking fights as soon as you wake up in the morning. They are fighting in the Spectrum Center in North Carolina. I'm not sure why these fights are so early.
Fucking 8 a.m.?
Yeah, super early card.
But it's
probably because it's on ABC, though. Something to do with that.
And then you got like basketball playoffs.
Maybe they want to lead in for basketball or something? I don't know.
Yeah, the basketball playoffs, it's 100%. Yeah. It could end up being there could be some implications with basketball, but
it's what it is. Heavyweight action at the top of the card. What?
I was seeing the main card starting at 12.
12 p.m.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Are you sure that says a.m.? I mean Eastern or?
It says 12 p.m. The prelims start at 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really early card.
Oh, you're talking about the card. I thought you were talking about. I'm stupid. Never mind.
No, I almost never. I mean, we watched the whole card, so when I say it's start time, I'm talking about the first fight.
Okay. For some reason, when you said the card, for some reason my mind went to main card, and I was like, the main card's at 8 a.m. I was like, the fucking prelims are gonna be at like 4. Who's gonna be there? Who agreed to fight at 4 a.m., dude?
So, everybody on ONE FC. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Scratch that. Maybe we can edit it out of the episode.
Okay, guys. Jairzinho Rozenstruik coming off of his round 1 finish over Chris Daukaus back in December of 2022, locking horns with the surging Jailton Almeida, who has managed to crank out three wins in the UFC so far over Shamil Abdurakhimov, Anton Turkalj, and Parker Porter. And all of those were inside the distance. All finishes, 2 rear naked chokes, round 2 ground and pound. This is pretty much exactly a striker versus grappler match. I'm picking Jailton Almeida by whatever he wants. Okay, not whatever he wants. He's going to take this fight down, and he's going to get Jairzinho Rozenstruik out of there, probably in the first round, no later than the second round. That's my prediction. Brandon, you go first. Or you go second, rather.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Second. I think Biggie Boy is going to not completely shit the bed, but I like him, but I just think Johnson is like just on every last type of steroid there is. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to beat a guy like that with his fucking athleticism. And I think the size thing is pretty much the only thing you can really, but Biggie Boy doesn't really do anything to like use size against, what Jalton's going to want to do. So
yeah, it's a good point. Like Biggie Boy is just there to kind of be a striker. There's not really too many instances where he's kind of like using that to bully anyone around the cage or for control time or anything. That difference is about 30 pounds. Or Jailton Almeida's last weigh-in. It's not insignificant, but yeah, Jailton last weighed in at 232 pounds. Rozenstruik last weighed in at 261 pounds.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's wild.
So, yeah, it's a bit of a difference there. Worth noting, Jailton Almeida has the height advantage at 6'3", but it's only by 1 inch, so it's not a whole lot. But he also has a 1 inch reach advantage, 79 inches versus 78 inches. Do you think any of that plays a factor? Also, Jailton Almeida, pretty young for the heavyweight division at 31. Biggie Boy, not exactly ancient either at 35. So something to know. I didn't realize how young Jailton Almeida was coming into this heavyweight division and starting to kind of make a name for himself.
Mike, what you got here, Mike?
Oh, me? Honestly, I'm looking at his record right now. I'm not I'm pretty sure I've seen Jailton fight before, but none of the fights that I'm looking at kind of come to my mind.
We got a thing on the fight plug. It's called The eye test. Thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you. Stole the words out of my mouth. I totally understand.
We wear
though,
black
Mike.
shirts. We wear black shirts, and we just go off fucking like delusion, like straight up, like we're delusional. I am.
Yeah. Jailton Almeida. He certainly doesn't have a key win in the UFC yet, or a win over a name that's like holy fuck, you know.
Yeah.
But
I see his most recent win is the Shamil fight, and then I clicked on his record, and he was fucking like four fight losing streak. So, I guess based on just my limited knowledge of kind of how Jailton fights, I know you guys are saying he's a good fighter and really athletic. I'm just gonna have to go with Rosenstrike by KO.
All right. Yeah, no, I guess if I hadn't ever seen and how do I say this to make it not seem like I'm like calling Mike out and be like, you haven't seen a Jailton Almeida fight. But if I wasn't sure, if I hadn't like if it wasn't super clear to me, if I didn't quite remember his performances, I could look at Jailton's record and be like, I don't see what's so special about the guy either.
Right. No, definitely. Like I can't, like if I was coming into it with Mike's point of view, I would not.
Yeah.
I can disagree with what Mike said, but it's just like you watch the guy, you're just like, Jesus Christ, like this guy's, what's going on with this dude?
Yeah.
Especially a light heavyweight, like, because like if he's going to give some trouble to the dudes in light heavyweight for sure.
And there's absolutely been fighters or fights on this program that we've broken down where I'm looking at their record and I'm giving a breakdown of their fight, also kind of thinking like, did I see that fight? Have I watched any of this guy? How many of this guy's fights have I really watched?
Right.
So no judgment.
He's a Contender Series guy.
Jailton?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good, man. Very good.
Look up some of these fights.
The fuck up, this gentleman.
Oh, I didn't realize he has 4 fights in the UFC. I didn't notice the Danilo Marquez fight back in 2022, but also another first round finish, ground and pound. Really, really good control. Grappler. Really good control, top game. If he can't get Biggie Boy down, I could see him having some issues. I think the biggest issue is just that Biggie Boy he takes rounds off. Like he throws so little offense. Where it's like if Jailton has some trouble taking the fight down, or maybe he doesn't even get the fight down to the ground for the whole first round, I'm not exactly like holy fuck, like sweating bullets, like oh shit, he's gonna get fucking finished.
He has power behind him though.
Yeah,
maybe more so in light heavyweight, but he has fucking power, and he's like definitely like we were talking about Kron Gracie. This guy's not gonna look anything like fucking Kron Gracie, like when he's out there on ABC's. I don't think we're gonna see any butt scoots or pulling guard. So
no. Man, back about the Gracie pulling guard thing, I was just thinking, like, if it wasn't for Tatiana Suarez recently in her fight with Montana De La Rosa, where she pulled guard to get that guillotine that finished the fight, if not for that fight, I wouldn't be able to tell you the last time I saw someone legit pull guard. And in the UFC, I mean, if it happened in any other fights recently, there weren't any fights that I watched.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time you saw someone pull guard in the UFC, Mike?
I can't remember the last time we seen somebody pull guard. Possibly it could have been Damian Maia. I have seen people pull mountain before.
I've seen that happen in WM.
I think I've probably seen that happen more often than people pulling guard.
Okay, let's do a quick rundown of the rest of this main card for UFC on ABC. This co-main event, Anthony Smith coming in with all the experience in the world, 36-17, faces Johnny Walker, 20-7, for the who will fight Alex Pereira belt. Exactly. That's what a lot of people are kind of looking at this fight as. But, I mean, it should be noted that they're both number 6 and number 8, respectively, in the light heavyweight division. Or at least according to Tapology's rankings. I always got to throw in that asterisk. I think this is probably going to be a funner fight than it has any right to be. It
probably should have been the main event.
I can see that.
I think they really want Jailton like the UFC is trying to like
You trying to push him?
push him hard. I can totally see why, and they're trying to like give him his platform to really like look good on national television. Yeah, but this, I think if this was like an Apex card, they would probably put this one at the main event just because it's going to be, like you said, more fun.
Yeah, the UFC, they love putting Anthony Smith in random main events on fight nights, so it would have been totally.
They probably did it just because they're like, we can't do this again. We fucking can't.
Not. Oh, I was gonna say I hadn't really thought too much about how I'm breaking this fight down, or what picks I'm getting. I'm literally just thinking about it.
Just create a player looking ass dudes, though, like straight NPC looking dudes. Both of these guys.
Anthony Smith is the default template for fucking UFC.
He's like the guy in the background when you're like on story mode, and he's just like in the back, just fucking like just like staring at the ground and shit.
You need a ride to the hospital? I think I'm picking Anthony Smith in this fight, though. I'm leaning towards Anthony Smith. Johnny Walker is just too chaotic. I think the only time we've seen him kind of change his game up, it was for the worst. It was when he was training out of SBG Ireland, and they were just like, okay, we're going to take everything that made you special, and you're just not going to do any of it at all. You're just going to be a boring fighter and still lose fights. So I feel like on this path that Johnny Walker is on, he still hasn't really quite figured out how to be like the best version of Johnny Walker, and I'm still interested in seeing that guy for whatever it would mean to the light heavyweight division. I just think that the experience of Anthony Smith, who has more wins than Johnny Walker even has combined wins and losses, I think that's going to shine through. I think he also is at this moment is going to recognize the opportunity he has, because we've seen Johnny Walker in the past. He was really like they were already trying to make him a title contender when he was on his initial run in this light heavyweight division. Like if he had beat Corey Anderson, if he had knocked him out the same way he was knocking everyone else out, they were like, yes, please, we'll put this guy in front of John Jones. We're ready for it,
Cigarette rat meme. Corey Anderson, dude, just like straight cigarette, fucking rat with a cigarette, dude. God damn.
So because of that, because of the opportunities that we've seen them try to give Johnny Walker, and a guy in Anthony Smith who we've seen them actively take opportunities away from. Like this man has had opponents pulled from his fights and thrown into title fights. Like he was supposed to fight Jamal Hill, and then they just decided, okay, we'll take Hill and we'll put him over in a title fight and get fucked Anthony Smith. I think Anthony Smith is just too hungry, to not wanting to get fucked over to let a guy like Johnny Walker come in and take his opportunity away. So yeah, that's why I'm going Anthony Smith. I think he's just hungrier for it, and he's going to make it a dirty, ugly fight. Probably take Johnny Walker down and get a dominant decision.
I think Johnny Walker sparks him in the second round. Like it's going to be like smoked. Thanks for coming out, Ant.
I think if Anthony Smith has a dominant first round, because I don't know, have we ever seen?
I bet
Johnny
you
Walker?
Anthony Smith has the most NPC ass walkout music too, just straight up.
All I'm gonna say is this fight's gonna be boring as fuck. You got two guys who are close to getting back to their title shot. They know they're probably gonna be fighting Alex Pereira next, and you're gonna have two guys fighting to not lose, and it's gonna be a boring ass decision.
Good point.
Flip a coin. Probably Johnny Walker, because Anthony Smith's going to be the one that's even more scared to pull the trigger.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting much out of this fight.
I think Anthony Smith just needs to get a little bit of a lead, and that's it. Because I think the only time we've ever seen, or at least in the UFC, the only time we've ever seen Johnny Walker be in trouble and then just turn it around was against Ryan Spann. And that was because he elbowed arguably elbowed the shit out of the Span in the back of the head multiple times.
Yeah.
That was a kind of controversial one.
I do remember that. Wow.
Yeah. And that was also just chaos too. Like that wasn't necessarily like
chaotic good though.
Chaos, sure.
Johnny Walker's chaotic good.
Just saying things to say them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brandon plays a lot of RPGs, huh?
Yeah, chaotic good.
But it wasn't like Johnny Walker like went back to his corner and made adjustments and was like, oh fuck, this is happening. I need to do this. No, it was just like, I'm holding on and I'm going to fucking hit you with these Travis Brown elbows. And so if to go, I guess what I'm referencing is your prediction, Brandon, about Johnny Walker sparking him in 2. I think he has to spark him in 1. I don't know if it gets to round 2 if it's that kind of a fight anymore, but I can see Johnny Walker sparking him though.
I think he's gonna spark him. I think it's gonna be pretty sick. I just have a weird feeling. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me to break it down and tell you how.
Sometimes that's just the kind of pick you gotta make. I totally get it. There's been picks where it's like, dude, that's because when I see this fight playing out in my brain, that's how it looks. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. NPCs.
Let's
can I just throw in that I cannot wait for Olberg to kill Ior Pretoria in that cage for doing what he did to Shogun.
Ior Pretoria. Oh, he's that guy who fucking emoji danced
Fortnite
after. Yes, Carl. Oh, that's
and Olberg, please. I will be giving him all of my whatever karma. I don't have any good karma, but I will give whatever I have to Mr. Olberg. He doesn't need anything. The guy's fucking bodied up, Giga Chad.
He's fucking statue. Him. Yeah.
Please kill him in the ring, please. Please kill him for what he did to Shogun.
I am now instantly invested in this fight where I didn't remember who Ior Pretoria was.
I was just scrolling and I was like, oh, here it is. And I think they gave Olberg this guy just for that. They're like, oh, did you like to dance? Was that fun?
And that was actually just the fight that I was going to skip over to because I was about to be like, hey, I don't have a breakdown for Daniel Rodriguez versus Ian Gary.
Ian Gary wins that. I'm taking Ian Gary.
It's a coin flip for me. I don't really know what to expect out of that fight.
Yeah.
Okay. Carlos Olberg, I will now actively root for him against Ior Potiera, and that's who I would have picked anyways. I think Carlos Olberg is one of those light heavyweights that we've
Please come on the show.
With. Yes, come on the show, Carlos Olberg. Tell us how you kill people. Excited to see Matt Brown come back and do it.
He looks leather daddy. He looks like total leather daddy, dude. Like he like Mr. Slave from South Park. Like if you just like throw him in a leather vest and one of those biker hats and the fingerless gloves, he would hella fucking blend in at like one of those clubs.
I just learned today from that clip that maybe I sent it to you too, Brandon. I'm not sure, but I didn't know that Matt Brown was in the crowd on the night that Dimebag Darrell was shot and on stage.
Tracks.
Damage plan.
Definitely tracks.
Definitely
tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks. Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Story. I didn't know that.
Yeah. There was a clip that I sent you earlier where they were interviewing him and
cigarette rat, Dimebag Darrell. Goddamn cigarette rat, dude. Fuck. Don't people go to that guy's grave still and do like wild shit?
I'm sure. Yeah. I don't know any of the stories, but that's definitely a metalhead like destination right there. He said he was feet away from it when it happened. He said some guy who was like a couple people away from him got shot in the arm, and he saw the guy shoot Dimebag in the head. He saw the cop shoot that guy in the head later when he arrived.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, crazy.
What a night!
Yeah, he was there. So I'm rooting for Matt Brown in this fight. Never really liked Court McGee. I don't know why I have anything against him.
Do not like Court McGee.
No, Matt Brown's a legend. And I've also endeared myself to him even more because I've been listening to Fighter and the Writer, which is a podcast that he's a co-host on, a regular co-host. So kind of gotten to get a little bit more insight into how Matt Brown thinks, and just he's also been doing it during this training camp and giving updates and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And
he works out with like those maces and shit, right? Like weird ass workouts.
he just beats the piss out of Mark Coleman every day.
Mark Coleman's daughter, Mackenzie. I think she follows me on Instagram. I don't know how I got that. Mark Coleman's daughter is a dime piece, dude.
All right. I don't have anything else to talk about on this card. I think it's time we hung him up.
Yeah.
Mike, your girl Jessica Rose Clark is jerking the curtain.
I absolutely forgot about this young lady.
Was she fighting Michigan too?
I think Mike and I should start a camp and invite her to come. And I will lay down and be a jiu-jitsu dummy. You just tear my fucking arm off. Go right ahead.
Yeah, she's coming back to fight a gal named Tainara Lisboa.
Oh, I think this is the end of JRC in the UFC.
Why? Do you know anything about this Brazilian girl she's fighting? I don't know anything about it either.
Isn't she like 7 or 11-0 or something?
She's 5-2.
Ah, shit. Never mind. I was thinking somebody else.
Do you like
What the fuck?
No,
I was like,
I was
we
looking
got
at
sound
Jessica Rose
drops.
Clark's. No, I was looking at her fucking OnlyFans. Sorry, guys. Go ahead. I'll mute it.
And you're like,
No.
what? Like it wasn't from your phone?
Yeah. Mike.
no, I would still probably say I'd probably still take
The gal she's
Lisboa by
fighting.
submission.
Her notable fights are this
Matt. Brown.
this Lisboa girl. The beginning of her MMA career started off with 2 losses. One was in Muay Thai. She lost to Valentina Shevchenko in Muay Thai.
Okay.
And her first MMA fight, she lost to Norma Dumont by rear naked choke.
Okay.
So interesting early competition for Tainara Lisboa.
Yeah. What are the most recent wins?
Over. Oh man, that's a tough one even for me to pronounce. It's a Brazilian name, Conceição Oliveira,
Okay.
and Gloria Amaral, Leticia Ferreira. These are finishes though.
The finishes by sub or
Arm triangle round 2, KO TKO round 1, punches round 1, just another arm triangle round 1.
this seems like someone they're trying to build up.
Oh, she's got a corner stoppage win against a girl named Mara Suzamakwe, which means that might have been a no mas right there.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is someone that they're trying to build up. Started off with 2 tough losses, but those losses are to proven fucking fantastic, great fighters. So, yeah, this is the end of JRC and the UFC.
All right, well, so long, JRC, and so long to our listeners, because I'm ending this episode, whether you guys like it or not. Thanks for joining me again, guys. Mike, I'm glad that you popped in, even though it was late. I mean, we still ended up pretty much covering everything with you, so that's awesome. Hope everybody enjoys this next card of fights. I don't even know what comes after that. We're gonna the next episode recapping this ABC UFC card is probably gonna be a lot of silly goosery, and I'm looking forward to it. Mike, the door's open if you want to join us for that. Again, also,
It's called silly goosery.
yeah. I mean, it's an early card. It's gonna have to be real happening for us to be like hardcore.
The following card is the Dern versus Hill fight,
and that's the main event of that card. So. Honestly, that's approaching. You guys want to take a week off territory?
Yeah,
so,
we're scraping the bottom of the barrel on that one.
Yeah, that's a tough look. And I think that fight just barely came together too. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that has to do with anything, or any cancellation or anything like that. But
289 is the next big one in June.
Wouldn't be surprised. All right, folks. If you stuck around, thank you. We appreciate you listening to all this episode. And if you skimmed around, that's also very totally cool. If you heard anything interesting, or if you have any questions or comments about anything that you want us to discuss on a future episode of The Fight Plug, please leave those down below in the comments. Consider liking, subscribing, and ringing the bell so you don't miss any of our future episodes. And until then, this has been another episode of The Fight Plug. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to cheer on your cigarette rats. All right. Bye.
Oh man.